everybody. Welcome to the Jenny VIP Thought Series. This is just like a little mini-sode series that I've been developing over the past few months. Essentially, I just want to be more in touch and be more transparent and honestly more alignment with all of you who've been listening to the podcast. These little episodes are really meant to give you all just real thought snapshots in the moment. Things that I think, that I'm struggling with or emotions that I'm going through. I want to be able to share them with all of you because I want you to know that we're all going through this. And, if you're having a particularly rough week, like maybe one of these little mini-sodes might resonate with you because we all have them. Life has tons of ups and downs, and I think it's just important to know that you're not in it alone. And this is really what the point of all these are. So you won't hear the same topic over and over again. Most likely it's going to be very different from episode to episode. But I really hope that you find them helpful. And, I would love to hear from you on them. So let's take a listen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another little Jenny session. So I wanted to share a frustration point with all of you. I do try to keep to the more positive, like upbeat side of things for the most part. And that's just even like in general. I always try to look on the brighter side or look to where, even if it's a bad situation, what am I learning from it? That kind of thing. And I wanted to share something real because, again, like I think we all go through these little moments. Apologies, drink water. I think we all go through these moments of frustration. And again, because nobody really talks about it because, you don't want people to think poorly of anything, any aspects of your life. We all sort of walk around feeling frustrated and we don't express it. And then it's like gives sort of like a pearly white image of what the actual reality is. And I don't want to do that. So I want to keep it real. So this week, with the podcast and then my regular job, you can imagine that I keep fairly busy. So I'm always looking to try to streamline things a little bit better for myself. And something that I just over the past, I guess, 6 to 8 months, something that I had started doing was making sure that I'm asking for help or for time when I need it, because I have always been of the mindset of like, carry everything on your shoulders. You can handle it all, do it all yourself. And I know that's like a trauma response thing, and it's something that I've been doing for forever. So breaking that cycle has been pretty important to me, and it's actually pretty significant to, things improving in my life. So this past week, I have had two instances thus far where the first one I specifically said I need 2 hours. I need 2 hours for podcast because you guys are super important to me. So I'm like, I need 2 hours for podcast. That's all I need in the grand scheme of things. 2 hours for me to work on podcast stuff is really not that much considering all my other time is for other people. And working on the podcast brings me so much joy and I love it so much that like it's like my me time. It's like something that I love that I can focus on, that's mine. And I mean, I share it with obviously my co-host, but it's my thing. Like I don't have to really do anything, and align with anyone except for my cousin. Like it's truly like a vision of like, this is my pure thing that I love. So I make time for it. And so I I raised my hand and over the weekend said, I need 2 hours for this. Now, if anyone listening is a mother and has small children at all, you already know that, wow, you're gonna take 2 hours and do something for yourself over the weekend. So, I know I was gonna make it work or whatever. And so I raised my hand, said I need 2 hours. I need some focus time, and I got to get a couple things done that I'm excited about. Like just we're expanding our reach on social media into TikTok. By the time this
audio airs will hopefully be all the way up and running, but it's taking me a minute because I need to create content and do a couple things. So I said, I need 2 hours. And my husband said, all right, no problem, like totally into it, totally fine. Um, and then the day carried on, and we kind of got to the mid-afternoon time slot of, like, I think it was like a little after lunch, something to that effect. And I was like, all right, I just need 2 hours. And I could already tell that he, I guess, either had forgotten or just at that moment was like, oh, all right, I don't really want to support this at this point in time. And I'm not trying to talk badly about my husband, but I do really want to be real here that, like, this does happen, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of women. Um, and I went and sat down in the office, and I said before I went into the office, I said to my husband, I was like, listen, please just be mindful of them. They're all downstairs, like, they're hanging out. Like, I set them up with an activity. Like, please just keep an eye. Like, I have to do something. So sure enough, I sit down. Within 5 minutes, um, the there was an explosion of crying and screaming downstairs. So, and it sounded emergent. So my husband and I both jumped up and ran downstairs to see what was going on. Now, it wasn't an emergency, thank God, but it had sounded like one. So it scared both of us. We both went running down the stairs, and he turns to me and says, well, you can't give them this activity. Someone's supposed to be monitoring them. And I literally said, I'm like, yeah, you. So I got so frustrated at that point, um, that I said, forget the me time. And this is, again, my response to feeling like I have to do everything myself. I said, forget it. I'll just take the kids out. Now, this is also okay too. It's extra time for me with my kids. And honestly, like, that's, while they drive me insane, they're my favorite people, and it's like a bonus anyway. So I took them out. I spent some extra time with them. We did like some fun things or whatever, but it did still leave me feeling frustrated because while I love them, I want to spend time with them, I also needed that time for me. And so I was really annoyed that it happened that way because I asked for so little, and I'm always trying to carry so much, and to not have that support in that moment was incredibly annoying for me. And it was really frustrating. And to be honest, like, not devastating is not the word, but I was really upset and bothered by this. Um, so I did let it go. And in full transparency, you know, for the most part, I do usually get that time to myself on the weekends, but in this instance, it didn't really work. So I was like, I'm going to let this go. It happened. We had some unique situations the past weekend. So it's a unique thing, and I'm going to let it go. And then the roll off from that, because I let that go, and because I didn't firmly say, okay, you need to do something here, I have to do this, because I didn't take the time to fill my cup up, that frustration has, like, bled into my week. And so because I didn't get to do what I needed to do over the weekend, I was trying to do it last night. And similar situation, every time I sat down, it would be like 5 minutes in, I'm just getting focused on what I want to work on, and somebody would need me. I get pulled for something else. And I was getting more and more irritated. And I feel really horrible when that happens because I hate acting like that. But it was a runoff because I never stood my ground this past weekend. And then I never actually expressed my frustration either. And you've heard me talk about communication being key a couple of times. Had I sat down with my husband and said, look, I'm really frustrated that I didn't get that time today. Like, I'm going to have to make it up this week or whatever. Had I taken that time to do that, then it it would have been taken care of. I would have felt filled up and seen, and then I would have moved on from there. But because I didn't do that, now these little things that are happening this week is actually feeling like worse things than they actually are. So I'm sharing this for a reason. One, I want to normalize husbands. I love them, love mine so much, but they are frustrating. And two, And it's normal if you're, I think it's normal. I said to one of my friends recently, I was like, if you haven't fantasized about murdering your husband, I don't even know if you're married. Like, and she started laughing because it's true. Like, it's being married is a lot of work and it's incredibly frustrating because you have to deal with someone else's personality and, you're not always aligned on what's going on. So it's a frustration point. Now, the other part to this too, um, because I didn't take the time to communicate, because I didn't, you know, take that step, I threw off the rest of my week because I didn't take that time to fill my cup up. So that's the part that I wanted to really like highlight here because I didn't get that time that I really needed this weekend to do something that I love and kind of spark the joy in myself. Because I didn't take that time, um, I felt drained. I felt a drain from me, and I that made me mad, and it's frustrated me. So, um, I, as always, am going to do my best to make more of an effort to make sure that I'm speaking. And like I have other things this week for podcast for season two, so I already raised the flag and was like, I have these important things I have to do. I can't move them. You're gonna have to deal with like everybody else. Like everyone's gonna have to deal with themselves. So, um, it's just a matter of me making sure that I'm communicating and that I also am not backing down when I'm expressing my needs, which has always been very hard for me. So I just wanted to share that with everybody because I think we all go through this and some of us might feel the strain more than others, but take a deep breath. Everyone is going through the same thing. We're all frustrated. Um, and take some solace in knowing it's not just you and it's not just your situation. It's not just your husband or your partner like doing these things that are frustrating. Everyone does them. And take some solace in that and knowing that like this is not unique because I think a lot of people start to get frustrated and then they think to themselves like, oh, well, the grass is greener over here. And that is just not the case. So um I'll leave on that note just saying like be patient and just take a breath and know that, you know, you do have to prioritize yourself and don't let, one moment of frustration kind of affect the rest of your week. Really work hard to try to get that time to fill yourself up so that you don't feel like you're not getting what you need in order to show up properly for your family. Um, Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying my little mini thought sessions. If you ever want to talk about something specifically, or if you're ever just curious about something in general, I'm always here, happy to listen and to engage. So if you find me and you message me, I'm happy to respond. Take care, everybody, and thank you again for listening.
Thank you for listening to Jenny's little VIP thought episode. I hope you did find it helpful. And again, these are little mini quick hits, so won't take too much of your day. And I hope that it just brings you some clarity, some peace, maybe some joy in some instances, knowing that, we're sort of all in this together. Check out some of our full episodes, which have guests and my co-host and lots of great things in them, but I hope that these mini-sodes are helpful to you. Thank you and take care.